Hello viewers, it's another interesting edition of your program on NTA Abeokuta Dialogue. On Dialogue, we bring to you important personalities who will be adding value to us and to our viewers. They have so much to tell us about what can impact our life and in the society. And today is not going to be an exception. Right here in the studio, we are having a guest, a global executive coach, French speaker, and value-based transformational leadership coach. Our guest today has over 30 years work experience within corporate, private, and public sectors, including voluntary and non-governmental, as well as faith-based organizations. I'm going to tell you that our guest today enjoys working alongside executives and leaders on one-on-one and on team coaching setting, bringing out of the ordinary into the extraordinary level. Today's program is a must watch for you because our guest is going to be sharing with you some important information which will also bring you out of the ordinary into the extraordinary level. I'm talking of no other person than Mr. Ade Adeyemi. Mr. Ade Adeyemi, it's good to have you on Dialogue in NTA Abeokuta.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to be here.
And I am your regular host on the program, Yemi Dalemo. Welcome. Now, Mr. Adeyemi, sir, let's start with this. As a team coach with wide experience from both local and international level, can you tell us more about team coaching settings?
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad to be here. And in a few minutes, you get to meet some of my partners on what we do. For me, you know, I always say you cannot see the frame if you are the one in the picture. So every one of us needs somebody else who can see what we can't see, and that's what coaches do. Coaches help us to understand ourselves better, to understand the situation we are in, which we cannot see ourselves. So, I mean, we've done that across the world, and it's been very helpful with executives, with team members. In fact, when African Union launched their intercontinental trade area they do right now, we work with their entire team in Addis Ababa to get them on the same page. And look at the results now. We can do business anywhere in Africa. So it's a needed perspective for every one of us.
That's just a tip in the iceberg. Now, yeah, our audience will also like to know you more better, what you do, where you're coming from, where you are, and other information.
Absolutely. I am grateful to share with you. I graduated right here in Abeokuta at Mapoli, okay, and I went to the United States to seek opportunities that we can use to transform Africa. My whole life has been about transformation. When I was at Mapoli, I actually started the JCI leadership team that now still exists. So I team up with Dr. John C. Maxwell, who is said to be the #1 leadership guru in the world, over 10 years ago. And we've done transformation everywhere. We went to Guatemala, to Paraguay, to Costa Rica. And my drive is what makes a difference in America or in Europe that we can get here. Because if you look at what's going on in America, as of today, the deputy finance minister of the United States of America, his name is Adewale Adeyemi, is a Nigerian. The president of the World Trade Organization is a Nigerian. So why can't we do it here? So that's what my journey has been about. And so having learned about transformation from John, who himself is partner with me in terms of what we are trying to do in not only in Nigeria or Abeokuta, but in Africa. My company called Project 55 Africa encompasses everything. But even if you transform people, the goal is to transform values, to teach people the values of hope, values of integrity, values of valuing other people, all those things that it takes to get you to the next level. But even if we do that, what happens in an economy where poverty still prevails? What happens when somebody comes to you and say, we'll give you some money, go and do something against your value. Because you don't have the money, you will take it. That's why we think, first we got to get money in people's hands. We got to give people an opportunity to make a real good living. What will it look like if right here in Abeokuta you can make dollars? You can hand dollars, not naira. Because naira, the ratio of naira to dollar is what got us in the problem we have. Ask me how. We have, Africa still has 30% of the world's natural resources. But when they call us poor nation, how can we be poor if we have 30% of the resources? You know why? Because we go begging every time. And every time we go begging, lend us money, give us this, they tell us, you know what, devalue your money. To the extent that now, $1 is like 400 and something. When I left, it was 1 for 1. So when we start handing dollars, it's that like we equalize everything. So that was my life. That was my journey until I met, a great guy. You guys will get to meet him. A young man, his name is Corey Cromrie, who also wants to change the world. I said, I want to transform Africa. He said, I want to transform the world. I said, that's good. That means my dream is God's space under yours. Let's just do what we got to do in Africa. When you meet this gentleman, you understand he has done well when it comes to helping people to make money, when it comes to helping rich people to get richer, when it comes to getting rich by himself, he's done very well. You'll hear him tell a story. I'm not going to break into that. But when I met him, and I was just coming from John on a trip to Africa, it was in April, and I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. I carried a book called Change the World, which I said, John, can you sign this for me? Because everybody who's going to help me along the way, I'm going to give it to them. And he signed like 12 of them. I gave one to the Commissioner for Education. I gave one to the Agora of Bagura. But before anybody else, the first copy I gave to Corey. Because when I met him, the first thing he said to me that got my attention is, he said, you know what, an impossible dream is just the right size. He got me. Because the dream I have to transform Africa, I think is impossible. And I think I need all the help I can get. And then for that, he said, you know what, I'm going to change the world. He said, because I think that's why I'm here. I felt like, we are right on. So that's why we are here. We launched in Moshood Abiola Polytechnic. We were so lucky to have Pastor Ezekiel, who is the president of the Alumni Association, introduce us to everybody that's important to do that launching. And now guess what? We are going to be doing a groundbreaking in January. We took possession of 3 acres of land yesterday in Mapoli, where we are going to put a trading academy that people can actually sit, in the place and learn from traders in London, from traders in America, some of the top 1% of traders. And we teach them the discipline so that they don't lose money. In fact, we have a competition going right now, is on the 3rd week, where some of the people that have gone through the program with Driven are now on a project of taking $100 to $10,000 in 10 weeks. It teaches discipline. We know everybody is not going to make it, but if a few people make it, think about that. What it's going to do for our community. So that's where we are.
So you're already talking about Project 55 Africa Innovation.
Yes.
So, how do you gather people that participate or are benefiting from the project?
Oh, wow. For the past 2 years, I have actually been training people online across Africa. We have a presence in about 26 countries right now. We are very strong within Ethiopia, Nigeria, Kenya, and that's why when Corey comes to visit, those are the places we want him to visit. We want him to come to Nigeria because we're going to do the groundbreaking. We're going to build an academy here, and then he's going to come to Ethiopia, where we already have, the last month alone, personally, I was in front of over probably 840 people in Ethiopia preaching the same gospel, telling them about what we are getting ready to do. So, yeah.
So, viewers, you are still on to Dialogue on NTA Abeokuta. We'll be going on a short break. After the break, we'll go over to his partner in the United States of America. Please stay with us. You are welcome back. You are still on Dialogue on NTA Abeokuta. The other time when our guest was talking to us, he said he has a vision of developing Africa, and over there in the United States he met a partner, and the partner is also having a vision of developing the world. So the two of them collaborated together, and on this program now we have the CEO Driven Trading Minnesota in the United States. His name is Corey. He is the partner that has that vision for developing the world. We are happy to have him on Zoom. Mr. Corey, how are you today? You had a vision and a passion of transforming the world. How are you achieving this? What are the plans? How are you getting people to transform their lives? Can you please tell us?
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly what an absolute privilege it is to be here. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, Ade, and thank you guys for hosting me today. I'm one of those guys that really came from nothing. I grew up in a very poor family here in the United States. In my life, ended up dropping out of high school. I never completed high school and was kind of living a life of, quiet desperation. And, somebody came into my life when I was 21 years old and told me about, ultimately dreaming big, right? Having a big dream. And, it doesn't matter how you start in life, it matters how you finish. And at any given time in your life, you can really turn it around and change. And I've implemented those principles in my life, for the past, 15, 16, 17 years now. Now I'm going to be 37 years old, so it's been quite a journey. And all I can say is, I've gotten this really deep passion within my heart and this conviction, this calling, that anybody in the world, at any point in their life, if they make a decision to change for the better, there is so much opportunity that exists today that there is absolutely no way that anybody can't succeed, right? And as I started to implement those principles in my life, I had so many things that were really just attracted to me, right? I ended up getting involved in the financial markets, back in 2013. As I learned what those could do, what average ordinary people would never have an opportunity or a shot in life to take advantage of. People around the world really never have an opportunity to take advantage of. I saw that, this is a skill that's actually fairly easy to obtain, but yet nobody's talking about it. Why aren't people showing us? Why aren't we learning about this in the school system? Why aren't we learning about this in education? And I actually took a self-directed route to education on studying the financial markets, and ultimately, to make a long story short, became one of the top 1% of portfolio managers in the United States, one of the largest brokers in the world. And, I found myself living the high life, right? Made millions of dollars, had the Ferraris and the fancy cars and the houses. And in 2019, at the peak of my career, I was the most depressed I've ever been in my life. Because I kept thinking about, where I came from, right? Being homeless, living on the streets, going through, severe drug and alcohol addiction because of the depression that I was under. And, didn't really have much growing up, was raised by my grandma and grandpa. My parents were alcoholics, and I looked at people around the world and I was like, what is stopping me from going out and sharing this skill with the world? I've always believed in, any man or woman, right? Any man or woman from any walk of life, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what race, what creed, what religion you're from, right? If you want to pursue excellence in your life, it's easily obtainable with the right information. I'm a perfect example of that. I dropped out of high school when I was 16 years old and became a multi-millionaire hedge fund manager. How do you put a story to that, right? Something you write about in the movies. And I'm sitting behind my desk in 2019. This is my 6th year in private equity management, and I realize I've spent the last 6 years of my life living behind a computer screen, making rich people richer. And of course I got rich, doing it. But money without fulfillment is, you might as well not even have it. In fact, I was more depressed having money than I was before I had it. And I realized that my passion in life was really helping people. That I had a very powerful story, right? My mess that I went through as a young adult and growing up is really a message that can impact the world in so many positive ways. And then I realized that I have a skill that I believe can be taught to anybody, anywhere around the world, with a basic internet connection and the ability to learn and the drive and the hunger to pursue something different, that everybody has a chance, right? What's normally only available for the upper class, right? To get invited to participate in a hedge fund, typical, even in America, the average person in America, 75% of the U.S. population makes less than $50,000 per year. And in the United States, that's very difficult to live off of, especially if you have a family, right? It's a very difficult income to live off of. And I know it's way different in Africa, trust me. So please know I'm saying that from the most humble way possible. But it's difficult. Families are struggling. And I looked at it, and it's like, you look at the whole financial system, it's really rigged for wealthy people. It really is. It's a sad thing. But, it doesn't have to be that way. I think average, ordinary people from all around the world have, big dreams to do more, to be more, to become more in life. So I looked at this skill set that I have developed over the last, 10 years, and I said, what if I could take this to every single household in America, and even more so, what if I could take it to every single household around the world and show people how to make hedge fund style returns month over month on their money, right? How could that transform Latin America? How could that transform Africa? How could that transform Asia? And I started to put together a model, building the team of the most prominent hedge fund managers that I have relationships with. And I said, guys, listen, we've all made a lot of money. We've all done very well working for, Goldman Sachs and Ernst & Young and, Bank of New York Mellon and all of these banks and, the CME4 traders. And I said, guys, what if we put together a Wall Street style hedge fund team and created an education company, and we brought our education to every household around the world to take what average, ordinary people would never have a shot at getting involved in a hedge fund, right? Because they're not accredited investors. They don't have $1 million net worth or more. But what if we could take what's only usually available for the upper class, show people how to do it themselves? We could shift wealth. We could create one of the biggest transfers of wealth in history. And I think that we could feel really good about what we're doing in our life. And I think we can all sleep well.
Mr. Puri, you have a very fantastic vision and a passion. And I want to know who are your target audience and how can they key into this transformation program?
Of course. That's a great question, by the way. I'm going to tell you guys a little story because I think it's a very important and relevant. I was not the guy when somebody came into my life when I was 21 years old. I was not the guy that was destined for success. I was the guy that most people written off, that most people had said, you'll be a dishwasher for the rest of your life. You'll pound nails for the rest of your life. Nobody gave me a chance, right? I don't believe that there is ever any good in cutting people off or prejudging people. I think the opportunity that we have is for everybody, right? And whether you're young, whether you're old, we have people from all different walks of life, from all different backgrounds, from 18 years old up to 80 years old that are plugged into our information right now, having huge success. I'll give you an example. We have a guy that's 76 years old. He's been working with me for now 2 years. He's actually my original mentor, the guy that came into my life when I was 21 years old. This guy barely knew how to connect his computer to the internet, and we have him making over 15% a month on his money right now. I would say that our education program is for everybody, right? If you're honest, if you're looking for something more in life, if you're teachable, and if you're coachable and you can hold yourself accountable, then you're a good fit for our company and our community.
Mr. Kure, we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your passion with us. We hope to see you very soon in Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm very blessed, guys. You know, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to the tour that we're going to do here in January. I could not be more proud of Mr. Ade Ademi here for leading the charge for us and really representing our brand very well down in Africa. Thank you, sir, and thank you all for having me.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Viewers, that has been the partner in the United States, Mr. Kure. We still have Mr. Adeyemi in the studio right here. Let's just take this question from him before time permits us to. Mr. Adeyemi, sir, wait. Project 55 Africa.
Yes.
Next year.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this before the time?
I'll tell you what I know is when you have a dream and the dream is clear enough, you actually can transform. My dream is that we start right here in Abeokuta and we start teaching people values. When their values change, we give them an opportunity to make a decent living. And that's where Driven comes in. They are able to actually learn. That's important. Because a lot of people who trade, why they think, oh, it's a gimmick or it's something, is because you don't learn something you want to do it. I remember when I first started driving, and my brother left his car running, and I went in it. I said, I've seen him driving, I know what he does. And I got in there and I turned the car. When I need to make the corner, I didn't know I had to return my hand. I crashed into another car. The exact same thing. You know, when we don't know what we don't know, that's what causes people to lose money. But Americans, the Americans, Europeans, the ones who make the most money in their life, they actually make it trading. When you learn that skill, when we learn that skill, I think it closes everything up. Everywhere I go, you know what I do? I ask people for the richest community in their state or their town, and everybody always tell me, oh, is this place, or is Ujere, or is Ibarra, or is there. And I end up telling them it's not. It's really the burial ground. Because a lot of us die with our dreams still intact. Because we try and we try and we try, and then we give up. Why do we give up? Because we have to chase money. Because we need money to live. So I felt, what if money wasn't an issue? What if we can teach people this one skill that you can actually be able to make whatever you need to make without being greedy? I think in Africa right now, my target with the people I'm talking to, don't do too much. Make $100 a day and get out. If you make $100 a day, you are okay. I mean, if you say that to Corey, you think you are crazy because he probably make a couple $1 million a day or whatever. But if you decide, I'm going to make $100 a day, when you hit that $100, leave and don't go back until the following day. We will get people to a place where they have the skill. Then you can actually follow your dream. When you don't have to, a lot of people have a job because they have to make a living, not because they love what they are doing or it has anything to do with their purpose, but because they got to make money to eat. But when money is not an issue, you can do anything you want to. And that's what my dream is. Because I believe when we do that across Africa, then Africa becomes a powerhouse. And we don't have to rely. I mean, look in Nigeria. I'm going to close. Look in Nigeria. We used to have only oil was the foreign exchange reserve we have. But how about now? We have entertainment from all these young people. It's the second, the number 2, besides oil. That they created it from nowhere. The exact same thing we are saying. What we're getting ready to do will take over from oil. Because we will got millions of young people who are not doing anything, but they are always on TikTok or they are always on Facebook. If we teach them this skill and then we give them the resources to be able to do it and teach them, you can take $100 to $10,000 in 10 weeks. If you can do that, then you can take 10,000 to 100,000 in 10 weeks. If you can do that, you can take 100,000 to 1 million. If we can teach them how to do that and they have the discipline, we will change Africa.
Well, viewers, that's the program today, but I'm going to close on this quote. Many people fail in life not for lack of ability or brains or even courage, or simply because they have never organized their energies around a goal. I'm sure on this program today you have been able to learn one or two things. You have been empowered, and that information has been given to you. What are you going to do with it? We want to thank Mr. Adeyemi for coming and sharing his passion and vision with us on this program.
Thank you very much, sir.
We hope when you come next year, you also find time to come to this program.
Absolutely. We will be here in January. Corey will be with me. We will sit right here in the studio with you, and we will share what we are doing. But what we need to look forward to is what's going to happen in Mapoli. In January, we are breaking ground for a digital education building that is going to make all this possible for us.
God will continue to help and sustain your vision and passion. Viewers, that's it on Dialogue today. We thank you for watching. Don't forget to make that choice that will liberate your life. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you.